The torpedo explodes against the starboard hull with the familiar percussion that Oberleutnant Klaus Weber has heard dozens of times during 18 months of successful convoy attacks. The satisfying detonation that signifies another Allied merchant vessel condemned to the North Atlantic depths. Another supply link severed in the underwater campaign that German naval strategy depends upon to strangle British resistance and force American withdrawal from European waters where German U-boats maintain tactical superiority through superior training, advanced technology, and operational experience that has sunk over 2,000 Allied vessels since the war began. But something goes wrong with the killing blow that should follow the initial impact. The Liberty ship, SS Benjamin Franklin, absorbs the torpedo strike without the catastrophic secondary explosions that typically tear cargo vessels apart within minutes, without the immediate flooding that sends merchant ships to the bottom with their precious cargoes of ammunition, fuel, food, and industrial materials that sustain British resistance and enable American military buildup for the invasion of continental Europe that German forces must prevent through disruption of Atlantic supply lines. Weber observes through his periscope as the damaged Liberty ship maintains formation with the convoy, continuing westward at reduced speed despite visible damage to her hull plating, despite obvious flooding in forward compartments, despite what should be fatal structural compromise that makes continued navigation impossible for any normally constructed cargo vessel struck by the G7E torpedo, whose 280-kilogram warhead has proven devastatingly effective against British freighters, American tankers, and neutral merchantmen whose destruction has become routine during the Battle of the Atlantic that German submarine warfare has dominated through technological superiority and tactical innovation. The second torpedo strikes amidships with identical precision, targeting the engine room where detonation should disable propulsion while creating flooding that overwhelms damage control capabilities, ensuring rapid sinking that eliminates another Allied supply vessel from the convoy route that connects American industrial production with British military consumption, that maintains the logistical lifeline supporting Soviet resistance, that enables the massive material accumulation required for Allied invasion of Fortress Europe, the German defensive strategy must prevent through submarine interdiction of Atlantic shipping lanes. Again, the Liberty ship refuses to cooperate with German expectations about torpedo effectiveness against merchant shipping. The explosion creates visible damage, initiates flooding, reduces speed, but fails to produce the catastrophic failure that should result from high explosive detonation against the thin hull plating that characterizes civilian vessels converted for military cargo transport, that makes merchant ships particularly vulnerable to submarine attack because their construction prioritizes cargo capacity over damage resistance, speed over armor protection, economic efficiency over military survivability. The third torpedo targets the stern section where fuel, tanks, and ammunition storage create maximum potential for secondary explosions that should guarantee vessel destruction through chain reaction detonations that exceed any ship's capacity for damage control, that ensure complete loss of cargo and crew while eliminating another unit from the merchant fleet, that enables Allied logistics operations across Atlantic distances that challenge conventional naval supply capabilities and require innovative solutions to unprecedented transportation requirements created by global warfare. The explosion occurs precisely as intended, creating the massive fireball that Weber expects from munitions detonation, generating the secondary blasts that should tear the Liberty ship apart through uncontrolled combustion of military supplies, fuel reserves, and structural materials that cannot survive the thermal and pressure effects of high explosive detonation in confined spaces where blast energy accumulates beyond any vessel's structural capacity to contain. Destructive forces that exceed design parameters for civilian cargo ships converted to military transport purposes. But the SS Benjamin Franklin continues sailing, damaged, flooding, burning in several compartments, listing to starboard, trailing oil and debris, moving at half speed with obvious structural distress. But still afloat, still maintaining steerage, still proceeding toward her destination with determination that contradicts everything Weber understands about naval architecture, torpedo effectiveness, and the fundamental principles of maritime warfare that have governed submarine operations since the invention of underwater combat vessels capable of attacking surface shipping. This is March 1943. The Battle of the Atlantic reaches its climactic phase where German U-boat effectiveness must prevent Allied logistics buildup that enables continental invasion, where submarine warfare represents Germany's most effective strategy for disrupting enemy operations while avoiding direct confrontation with superior Allied naval forces, where torpedo attack success determines whether German forces can maintain defensive advantages long enough for political settlement, that avoids total military defeat through overwhelming material superiority, that American industrial production creates faster than German military capabilities can destroy. Weber commands U-432, one of the most successful submarines in the Atlantic Fleet, with crew experience that includes 47 confirmed kills of Allied merchant vessels, with torpedo techniques refined through combat operations that have tested German naval technology against every variety of enemy shipping, with tactical expertise developed through encounters with convoy escorts, anti-submarine aircraft, and defensive measures that Allied forces employ to protect vital supply routes connecting American production with European military operations. His torpedo failures against the Benjamin Franklin represent unprecedented failure of weapons that have proven devastatingly effective against similar targets under comparable conditions, suggesting problems with torpedo mechanisms, warhead explosives, or targeting procedures that could compromise German submarine effectiveness throughout the Atlantic theater, where U-boat operations provide the primary means for interdicting Allied logistics while avoiding direct engagement with superior enemy naval forces that could destroy German submarines. Through overwhelming firepower advantages, the tactical situation requires immediate submerged withdrawal to avoid convoy escorts whose anti-submarine capabilities have improved dramatically through technological innovation, operational experience, and coordination procedures that make surface attack increasingly dangerous for German submarines whose survival depends on maintaining underwater concealment while conducting torpedo attacks from ranges that minimize exposure to enemy defensive weapons and detection equipment that threatens submarine operations throughout contested waters. But Weber's professional curiosity about torpedo failure overrides tactical caution about extended observation that exposes his submarine to escort detection, destroyer attack, aircraft assault that could destroy his vessel and crew through superior Allied anti-submarine capabilities that have evolved to counter German submarine tactics through technological innovation and operational experience gained through previous encounters with U-boat forces, operating in Atlantic waters where convoy protection has become increasingly effective. Through improved defensive measures, he maintains periscope observation as the damaged Liberty ship falls behind the main convoy, observing damage effects that should have produced catastrophic failure, but somehow leave the vessel capable of continued navigation despite flooding, fires, structural damage that would sink any conventional merchant ship within minutes of receiving comparable torpedo strikes under similar conditions, raising fundamental questions about American shipbuilding techniques, materials, design philosophy that may have evolved beyond German understanding of naval architecture principles. The Liberty ship's survival suggests revolutionary construction methods that German naval intelligence has failed to identify through conventional reconnaissance, prisoner interrogation, captured documents, or technical analysis of previous wreckage that has provided incomplete information about American mass production techniques, innovative materials, design modifications that enhance damage resistance, without compromising cargo capacity or construction efficiency, that enables rapid vessel production at rates that exceed German sinking capabilities through submarine warfare. 2 days later, Weber receives orders to investigate the Benjamin Franklin's wreckage, to conduct underwater examination that determines why 3 torpedo hits failed to sink a cargo vessel that should have been destroyed by the first explosive impact, to gather technical intelligence about American shipbuilding innovations that may have compromised German torpedo effectiveness against Liberty ship, targets that comprise increasing percentages of Allied convoy shipping through mass, production programs that challenge German submarine capabilities through sheer numerical superiority. The dive mission requires exceptional risk since the wreck lies in shallow waters where Allied aircraft maintain regular patrol schedules, where escort vessels conduct anti-submarine sweeps, where German submarine operations face maximum exposure to enemy detection capabilities that have destroyed numerous U-boats attempting similar intelligence gathering. Missions in areas where Allied defensive measures concentrate. Maximum firepower against German naval. Operations that threaten vital supply routes connecting American industrial production with European military requirements. Oberfeldwebel Heinrich Krause, the submarine's senior diver, descends toward the Benjamin Franklin's hull with breathing apparatus that provides 40 minutes of underwater operation, with tools for cutting through damaged plating, with underwater cameras for documenting construction details that German naval engineers need to understand American shipbuilding techniques that may have revolutionized merchant vessel design through innovations that enhance damage resistance, without compromising operational efficiency or construction economy that enables mass production at unprecedented rates. The initial approach reveals damage patterns that confirm torpedo impact locations, explosive effects consistent with G7E warhead detonation, blast damage that should have caused catastrophic structural failure in any conventionally constructed cargo vessel, providing evidence that torpedo performance met design specifications while target response differed, fundamentally from expected failure modes that German weapons testing has validated through extensive evaluation of torpedo effectiveness against various hull designs and construction materials, but closer examination reveals construction techniques that violate every principle of traditional shipbuilding that German naval education emphasized through centuries of maritime engineering evolution. Design philosophy that prioritizes rapid assembly over elegant engineering, mass production efficiency over individual vessel optimization, innovative materials application over conventional construction methods that German shipyards continue to employ through traditional techniques that emphasize quality craftsmanship rather than quantity production. The hull plating consists of prefabricated sections welded together through techniques that create continuous structural integrity without traditional riveting, frame spacing, reinforcement patterns that characterize conventional ship construction, enabling rapid assembly through standardized components manufactured in inland facilities by workers without traditional shipbuilding experience, transported to coastal assembly yards where vessels can be completed in weeks rather than months required for conventional construction methods that German shipyards continue to employ. More significantly, the Liberty ship incorporates structural redundancy that distributes damage loads across multiple load-bearing elements, preventing catastrophic failure when individual sections suffer torpedo damage, maintaining overall hull integrity despite localized destruction that would sink conventionally designed vessels, through progressive structural collapse that spreads beyond initial impact zones to compromise entire vessel stability and buoyancy characteristics that determine survival following battle damage or accident conditions. The welded construction creates virtually continuous hull strength that distributes explosive forces across larger structural areas than riveted assembly permits, reducing stress concentrations that typically initiate catastrophic failure in traditionally constructed vessels, enabling damage absorption that maintains vessel integrity, despite multiple torpedo impacts that should overwhelm any cargo ship's structural capacity to survive high explosive detonation against thin hull plating designed for cargo protection rather than battle damage resistance. Internal bulkhead arrangements follow design principles that compartmentalize flooding through watertight subdivisions that limit damage propagation, maintain vessel stability despite progressive flooding in damaged sections, preserve propulsion capabilities even when forward or aft compartments suffer complete flooding, enabling continued navigation under conditions that would immobilize conventionally designed cargo vessels through loss of stability, buoyancy, or structural integrity following combat damage or severe weather effects. The cargo hold organization incorporates damage control features that prevent secondary explosions from spreading between compartments, that isolate fires through fireproof barriers, that maintain access routes for emergency evacuation despite structural damage, demonstrating integration of military survivability, concepts with civilian cargo, efficiency requirements that German merchant vessel design has never attempted through construction techniques that prioritize commercial operation over military, vulnerability to enemy attack in contested waters. Krauss's documentation reveals modular construction techniques that enable rapid repair of battle damage through replacement of standardized components, welding procedures that restore structural integrity without dry dock facilities, damage control systems that exceed military vessel capabilities through innovative design that anticipates combat conditions while maintaining cargo operation efficiency, suggesting American industrial planning that integrates military requirements with civilian production capabilities in ways that German war economy has not achieved. The underwater examination continues for 37 minutes until Allied aircraft activity forces emergency ascent, but Krauss has documented sufficient technical details to revolutionize German understanding of American shipbuilding capabilities. Mass production techniques, design philosophy that prioritizes practical effectiveness over engineering elegance, quantity production over individual vessel optimization, innovative solutions over traditional methods that have governed maritime construction for centuries of naval development. The photographic evidence returns to German naval intelligence with implications that extend far beyond torpedo effectiveness to encompass fundamental miscalculations about American industrial capabilities, construction innovation, design philosophy that enables ship production rates that exceed German submarine capabilities to sink Allied merchant vessels, creating mathematical impossibility for German naval strategy that depends on sinking ships faster than American shipyards can replace them through mass production techniques. The technical analysis reveals that Liberty ship construction represents industrial revolution in shipbuilding that German naval planning has failed to anticipate through intelligence gathering, technical reconnaissance, strategic assessment of American manufacturing capabilities that have evolved beyond traditional shipyard limitations through application of automotive assembly techniques to maritime construction, enabling unprecedented vessel production rates that overwhelm German submarine effectiveness through sheer numerical superiority. Admiral Karl Dönitz receives reports that Liberty ship survivability compromises German torpedo effectiveness against increasing percentages of Allied convoy shipping, that American mass production enables vessel replacement rates that exceed German sinking capabilities, that innovative construction techniques have created merchant vessels whose damage resistance approaches military specifications while maintaining cargo efficiency that supports Allied logistics operations despite continuing submarine attacks that achieve tactical success without strategic significance. The strategic implications include fundamental revision of German naval strategy that has assumed superior torpedo technology and submarine tactics could overcome Allied numerical advantages through qualitative superiority, precision targeting, operational effectiveness, that recent Liberty ship encounters have revealed as inadequate against American industrial innovation that achieves protective capabilities through mass production techniques, rather than individual vessel optimization that German construction philosophy continues to emphasize. The Liberty ship examination forces recognition that American industrial capabilities have evolved beyond German strategic planning assumptions, that mass production techniques can achieve military effectiveness through innovative design rather than traditional engineering approaches, that quantitative advantages combined with qualitative improvements create logistical superiority that German submarine warfare cannot overcome through conventional tactics, superior technology, or operational excellence that has characterized U-boat effectiveness throughout the Atlantic campaign. The broader implications extend to German understanding of American war, production capabilities that enable simultaneous equipment improvement, and quantity increases that exceed German industrial capacity to match through traditional manufacturing methods, suggesting fundamental miscalculation of enemy capabilities that threatens all German strategic planning based on assumptions about relative industrial strength, technological advancement, production efficiency that Liberty ship examination has revealed as obsolete through direct observation of innovative construction techniques. Weber returns from the intelligence mission with understanding that German naval strategy faces challenges that extend beyond tactical problems to encompass fundamental industrial disadvantages that superior German engineering cannot overcome through traditional approaches to naval warfare, submarine operations, torpedo effectiveness that American shipbuilding innovation has neutralized through construction techniques that achieve military capabilities through civilian production methods that German war economy has not developed. The dive mission's findings contribute to strategic reassessment of German naval operations that recognizes American industrial advantages as potentially decisive factors in Atlantic warfare, requiring tactical adaptations that acknowledge superior enemy production capabilities while seeking vulnerable points in Allied logistics operations that remain susceptible to German submarine attack despite Liberty ship innovations that have enhanced merchant vessel survivability under combat conditions. Post-war analysis reveals that Liberty ship construction represented one of the most significant naval innovations of World War II, enabling American merchant marine expansion that overcame German submarine effectiveness through industrial rather than military solutions, demonstrating that mass production techniques could achieve strategic objectives through innovative design rather than traditional naval architecture that emphasized individual vessel optimization over fleet-wide capabilities that determine logistics success. The German dive mission documents one of the few instances where enemy forces directly observed American industrial innovation that was transforming naval warfare through civilian shipbuilding techniques, providing historical record of technological surprise that altered strategic balance in the Battle of the Atlantic. Through construction methods that German intelligence had failed to anticipate or understand through conventional reconnaissance that missed revolutionary changes in American shipbuilding philosophy and manufacturing capabilities. Krauss's underwater photographs become part of German naval archives that document American industrial capabilities that exceeded German strategic planning assumptions, providing evidence of innovation that achieved military effectiveness through civilian production techniques, demonstrating that victory in modern warfare increasingly depends on industrial capacity rather than traditional military advantages that superior training, equipment quality, or tactical excellence cannot overcome when confronted with overwhelming material superiority achieved through mass production innovation. Years later, when naval historians analyze factors determining Battle of the Atlantic outcomes, they cite Liberty ship construction as decisive element that enabled Allied logistics victory despite German submarine tactical superiority, demonstrating that industrial innovation can achieve strategic objectives through practical engineering that prioritizes effectiveness over elegance. Quantity over quality, when quantity reaches levels that overwhelm qualitative advantages through sheer numerical superiority combined with adequate performance characteristics. The underwater examination that revealed American construction secrets becomes symbol of technological surprise that altered naval warfare, evidence that innovation often emerges from practical necessity rather than theoretical research, demonstration that mass production techniques can achieve military objectives through civilian manufacturing methods that traditional military-industrial approaches cannot match through conventional engineering, excellence that emphasizes individual unit optimization over system-wide effectiveness that determines strategic outcomes. If stories like this remind you that simplicity can defeat complexity when properly applied, that industrial innovation often outweighs military perfection in determining strategic outcomes, then perhaps there are other moments of technological surprise worth remembering, worth analyzing, worth carrying forward into whatever challenges require us to choose between elegant solutions and effective ones, between perfect engineering and practical results that achieve essential objectives through innovative approaches that violate traditional assumptions about optimal methods.